Hey guys, this is Economy MCQs Part 2. Let's get started. And the first question is, what does the term moral hazard refer to in economics? And options are option A, the risk that the government will bail and failing out industries. Option B, the increased risk taking behavior when one is protected from consequences. And option C, the impact of fiscal policies on economic growth. And option D, the reluctance of firms to take loans due to high interest rates. And the correct answer is option B. The moral hazard occurs when individuals or institutions take on greater risks because they do not have to bear the full cost of those risks. And the next question is, the liquidity trap occurs when, and the options are option A, the interest rates are very low and people hold cash rather than invest. And option B, there is an increase in lending without a corresponding rise in investment. And option C, inflation is high causing people to invest less. And option D, the government controls money supply through taxation. And the correct answer is option B. Option A. A liquidity trap occurs when interest rates are near zero and money policy is ineffective as people prefer holding cash over bonds. And the next question is, which of the following would not be considered part of India's balance of payment? And options are option A, foreign exchange reserves, option B, remittances from Indian workers abroad, option C, foreign direct investment, and option D, domestic government expenditure. And the correct answer is option D. The balance of payment includes international transactions but excludes purely domestic activities like government spending within a country. And the next question is, what is the Taylor rule associated with? And the options, option is setting exchange rates, option B, determining fiscal deficit limits, option C, setting interest rate based on economic conditions, and option D, determining unemployment rates. And the correct answer is option C. The Taylor rule provides guidelines for adjusting interest rates based on inflation and economic output related to their targets. And the next question is, in the context of a global trend, what does the most favored nation AMFN principle imply? And the correct answer and the options are option A, country provides the best trade terms to SLEs. Option B, no country should receive better trade terms than others. And option C, trade barriers are minimized for specific partners only. And option D, all trade should be free and without restrictions. And the correct answer is option B. On the WTO's MFN principle, countries agree not to discriminate between the trading partners, offering the same trade terms to all. It also includes that no discrimination will take between the imported goods and the goods of the domestic market. And the next question is, which of the following taxes is a form of indirect tax? And the options are option A, income tax, option B, corporate tax, option C, goods and service tax GST, and option D, wealth tax. And the correct answer is option A. Is a form of indirect tax, and the correct answer is option C, GST. Goods and service tax is an indirect tax, and rest are direct tax. Indirect tax are levied on goods and services and can be passed on to consumers, like the goods and services tax. It also means that direct tax are those tax which are collected by the same people on which they are uh, imposed, or the target of incidence and target of imposition is the same. But in indirect tax, the target of incidence are others but target of impositions are others. Next question is, the law of illustrates the relationship between, and the options are option A, tax rates and tax revenues, option B, employment rates and inflation, option C, income inequality and economic growth, and option C, supply and demand for goods. And the correct answer is option A. The law suggests that there is an optimal tax rate that maximizes tax revenue without overburdening the economy. And the next question is, Which of the following is an example of regressive tax? And the options are option A income tax, option B wealth tax, option C corporate tax, and option D value added tax. And the option D value added tax is a regressive tax. A regressive tax has a higher impact on lower income individuals such as VAT, where everyone pays the same rate regardless of income, while progressive tax are those taxes which differ by the income or the economic status of the people. And the next question is, in economies that tragedy of the commons refers to, and the options are option A inefficient allocation of resources in a free market economy, option B overuse and depletion of the shared resources due to individual incentives, option C a situation where all resources are privately owned, and option D government failure in providing public goods. And the correct answer is option B. The tragedy of the commons describes how individuals acting in self-interest can deplete their resources, harming the group overall. And the next question is, the quantitative easing primarily aimed at, and the options are option A reducing government, and this is the last question, reducing government spending to curb inflation, option B increased money supply to stimulate the economy, option C decreasing tax rates for higher investments, and option D strengthening the currency in international market. And the correct answer is option B. The quantitative easing is a monetary policy where the central bank buys securities to inject liquidity and stimulate economic growth. And this was the last question. Thank you for attending the class. Let's meet in the